Say hello.
We're ready to go.
Yeah, Therese will give us the nod.
So have they got a photo of us as well?
Yep.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
Good to see you, Bruce.
Yeah, good, John. Are you all right?
Excellent. Enjoying the warm weather up north here.
I've already heard that. Now, you do realise your duty lies here.
So we are recording. And we're on live stream.
So we're ready to go, Therese?
Therese, are we good to go? Yeah,
we are. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Just before we start, I want to just have a moment's silence for Bill Woods, who was a past mayor of Selwyn and has done a lot of work, be it in Selwyn, and a very good friend. I attended his funeral this afternoon. The other one I would like to also have some silence and particularly sympathy to his family is Jens Christensen. Jens unfortunately was killed over the weekend, and so I've got no further details at this stage, but they were two very prominent men in regards to council activities and community activities. So I'm just going to pause for a moment. Okay, Therese, are we back on air again?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. So could I welcome everybody to my fellow board members, Sian, John. We have an apologies from Malvern and Phil. If you're with us, please acknowledge us. The other one, a very warm welcome to those listening. It's a bit unusual for me at this stage not being able to see everybody, but however, I do welcome those people who are listening to it. In particular, I would like to welcome Vipol Adhikari, who is the appointed governance coordinator. So to you, Vipol, I look forward to some input during the meeting from you. Are there any identifications of extraordinary business that anybody wants to bring up? Okay, we'll move on. Conflicts of interest, anybody?
Negative.
Thank you. Okay, correspondence, Therese.
Thing.
nothing.
You're okay, Therese? There's no correspondence you wish to bring forward?
We'll see you after the break.
She said nothing.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Who's that one from? Oh, that's Kerwee. I see Kerwee are with us. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the public forum. Harvey, please. Welcome, Kerwee.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Harvey. Yeah.
Good. Just a couple of things that I'd like to raise. Firstly, I'd like for the council to provide a new flag for our cenotaph here. The New Zealand flag that was flown on Anzac Day was looking a little bit faded and is starting to fray at the edges. I'm not sure who's responsible for that, but I think it needs replacement.
Okay, Steve's taken note of that.
Thank you. Now, the other item that I just wish to raise is the Darfield jail. As you're aware, we've taken over the Darfield residents have taken over administration of the Darfield jail.
Yeah.
we have had a suggestion, or we looked at the possibility of getting somebody to open the jail on a regular basis, but obviously the costing for that has come in at a ridiculous price. We are quite convinced and quite happy that we can organise volunteers to open the jail ourselves. We think we can do it with one of the local businesses during work weeks, and then there's plenty. We've got at least 2 or 3 volunteers, including myself, that will be prepared to open it on stat days and weekends, that sort of thing. There was a suggestion in the from the council that to automate the jail opening, it could be done electronically. Unfortunately, of course, the door on the jail is the big heavy door that needs to be pulled wide open and secured. So electronic opening would not work in that situation. But what we would like to do, previously, of course, the jail had its own security camera in there. There was which the council had installed, and it had a recorder and everything in there. We are currently awaiting a quote, which we expect to come in around about the price that was suggested, around about $2,000, to put in a comprehensive security camera on the outside of the building and one internally as well. And we would like the council to replace that. This security camera will be connected to the police system, which we already have in Darfield, so police can access it. To keep an eye on security. We've got plans currently underway now to remodel the inside of the jail. We're awaiting some final advice on costs for that, and we'll be applying to the council heritage fund for support to do that work. But we're excited that it's going to be quite a feature for the township, and we're aiming for a September opening on that. So that's mainly if we can just get the organisation to approve, or somebody to approve the camera situation, that I can forward the quote once we get it.
Okay, look, I appreciate that. Thank you. So we'll take a motion on it that we support you in everything that you've mentioned, Harvey, as a community board. That then will just give it a wee bit more emphasis when we approach the council on it. So the thing is that the main thing is that we agree or support you that you will be control of the jail on a voluntary basis, but the only condition you would like to have is the opportunity for the council to put a better security camera installed.
Correct.
Is that what you'd like?
That's
okay.
Exactly that. Yes.
Okay. Is somebody on our board be prepared to move that recommendation?
I'm happy to move that recommendation.
Thank you, Sian. Seconder?
I'll second.
Thank you, John. It's been moved and seconded. If not, if there's no other amendments, I will put the motion. All in favour, please say aye.
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 Against? Carried. So that would be a unanimous decision. Okay. Is there anything else, Harvey, that you want to bring up at this stage?
No, that's fine. Just from the board, for an information point of view, we've installed lights, floodlights under the tree behind the jail there, which will multicoloured. Once we're just waiting on final commissioning of that, but that will make quite a feature for the landscape as well.
Okay, that's fine. The other thing with that memorabilia that had been given to you and presented to you, is that going to be on display, or are you going to sort of change perhaps parts of that memorabilia? Because no doubt it'll be locked away securely. It won't be available to the public just to turn the pages, will it?
We do plan to display some of it in the new setup in the jail. Of course, the council has also digitally recorded all of it, and will be having a connection to that with the new system, so that people can go on a QR code and be directed to that. But yes, we aim to keep the display turning over, and at the moment I've got these items stored at home, but they are of a lot of interest, and we'll keep them on display as much as we can. Yes.
Hey, look, I really appreciate that. And is there any other comment from the board members?
Yeah, I do have one comment.
Sian?
Harvey, so I caught up with Kieran Wall after our Combined Residents Association meeting in regards to a bench seat. the council believe that they will be able to donate the bench seat
Oh, that's excellent.
for
Now,
the
as I understand
memorial.
that, is it Sam Wiltshire is going to build that for you, Sian, is it?
Oh, Sam and I are in conversations about the foundation.
Yes,
I potentially have a source for concrete.
Yes.
Sam was going to provide the boxing, and the council's going to donate the seat. So it's just the plaque that the community board has to fund.
okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Very much.
anything else, Harvey? You're right.
No, that's
Okay,
fine.
right.
Thank you.
Now, I do
Right.
notice that Kerwin is on board. While you haven't identified anything that you wish to bring up, I will give you the opportunity, David.
Well, it's actually Nairi here.
And we're both here.
Both here. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, no, I just want to say we had a very successful first Anzac Day service, and we didn't have a clue how many people were going to come, but we think we had between 350 to 400. Would that be right? It was,
Yeah, well, I would have estimated somewhere around about the 300.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. No. Just saying that went off so well. Yes.
And I do congratulate you, and as I did at the service, not only you two, but the community as a whole. It was a tremendous effort, and what you planned on doing has been achieved, and I do congratulate you and the community for it.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll now move on. Now I didn't officially call for apologies, but we do have one from Calvin. Phil, are you on board or not?
Yep.
Oh, you are. Okay, that's fine. So
And
we just
Lydia's
have
coming. She's just going to be late. She should be due soon.
Sorry?
Lydia will be joining us, but she
Oh, yes, I
will be
beg your
joining
pardon.
us
Yeah,
a bit
but
later.
thank you, Sian. We have a late apology for Lydia. So can we have the apologies accepted? All in favour? Please say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Right, thank you. Confirmation of minutes. They have been presented before you. Is there anything there that people want to bring up before I call for a motion that they be signed as a true and accurate record? If not, is somebody prepared to move that they be signed as a true and accurate record of our last meeting?
John.
John? Seconder?
Sian,
Thank you. Okay, if there's no further discussion on it, I will put the motion. All in favour, please say aye.
aye.
Against?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. I'll put my agenda in there, man. Right, okay, next item. Action from the minutes. If you look at page... Oh, that's part of the update anyway. Okay, action from the minutes. If you go to page 12, is there any comment on any of those?
Hang on a minute.
Sian? I've spoken to Calvin on the finance one, and a workshop is scheduled for that. Have we got a date for that yet, Phil?
About 10 days' time, Mr. Chair.
In about 10 days' time. So please take a note of that, board members.
Do we have anything more specific than 10 days' time?
Oh, yeah. No, so when do you come home, John?
The 8th of May.
I think, through you, Mr. Chair, we've got a meeting scheduled, I think, tentatively for 12 May. I think that was one of the dates that we bandied around last week. So we can ensure that meeting gets sent out to the, just to confirm with the board. Happy to do that after this meeting. If that date doesn't work, board members can let me know.
No, thank you.
You there, that's all. Yeah, okay. All right. Now, Anzac services. Kelvin again, representatives at Kerwee and Glen Tunnel. Sian, you went to Darfield, didn't you?
Yes, I didn't go as a delegate, but I just went along.
I mean, you could, yeah.
I went along as a community member, and Auntie Lynn roped me into reading out the Ode of Remembrance in Te Reo, which was interesting, but it was a really lovely service. It was a better service than what we had the previous year, and I'm assured the next year will be even better.
Okay, thank you. And I did West Melton again, probably up to 400 people there. An excellent service. We had a very good speaker. The ambassador, there were 3 ambassadors from the school who spoke. The whole service went extremely well. And at the finish, much to everybody's surprise, it was customary years ago that once peace had been considered by the 2 opposing peoples, white doves were released to show a sign of peace. And so I had arranged that to be done this time. And while you can't say they stole the show, because I mean it's totally different. We were there for another, for the remembrance of the people, but it was just absolutely fantastic. So we'll move on. Do you want to say anything about the
Just
minutes?
before we move on, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Going back to the Darfield jail, my understanding was that Catherine Henderson was willing to put some money towards either the plaque or the chair.
Sian, do you want to answer that question?
Yeah, so Catherine Henderson was going to pay for the chair. Kieran Wall, after I spoke to him before he left our combined RA meeting, said that the council will provide the seating.
Yep. Okay. Does that answer your question, John?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Does the board secretary, Teray, do you want to make any comment on the minutes? Not publicly available soon enough? I think you've given it in your précis anyway. In other words, until the minutes have basically been signed and confirmed, they really, at this stage, legally, they can't be put out to public.
Our unconfirmed minutes are usually part of the agenda pack for the next meeting, and we do that across all committees at council.
Yes. No, but I think with the other thing, what we are doing at this stage, at least our members are getting a copy of the preliminary minutes. And so I think if there's anything, I believe that alleviates any problems that certainly our board members have had.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Therese, for that. Now, the meeting venue, again, Steve, would you like to make a comment there, please? I mean, you've made some suggestions. But West Melton.
Yeah, look, we, I guess, mindful of the what happened at last meeting, and I think our notes are there. We're happy to keep reviewing this. I guess with the technology that we've got in place at the moment to enable our meetings to be live streamed, the preference is to continue to deliver these meetings through council facilities, because then we can keep our staffing resource to a minimum in terms of the setup and pack down. Appreciate probably the last meeting had a bit of a hiccup, but yeah, like I'm just happy to take any other feedback from the board.
Are there any comments from board members?
One of the suggestions was the Darfield Rec Centre.
I'm happy with the suggestion of West Melton.
Okay, can we just, Phil, do you want to make a comment?
Doesn't matter, whichever it is. I'm happy anywhere.
Okay. Okay, we'll leave that to Steve and myself, and we'll work something out from there. Yeah. Thank you.
So I think the last point on the actions is just to note that unless anyone's got any questions, I think the answers, everyone's comfortable with that response.
Yeah. Again, I think our representatives on that is our two councillor members, be it Lydia and Bob. And I think if there's anything there that they can ring either of us or any of us, if there is some advice needed. So if everybody's happy with that, we'll just leave it as it is at the present time. Right. Okay. Next thing. Your report, Steve. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. Just stand by. So look, I think I've tried to cover off quite a few things in my report, and so I'll take the bulk of it as read, and I'll just make sure that I can work through the key points. I think just want to acknowledge the work that went into the Sheffield Pool decision, and Sian, your input into that process was really valuable. So thank you, kia ora for that. And also note, I guess Harvey's feedback. I guess the benefit of getting this into the report means that Harvey's come with a slightly different approach, and I'll work with Harvey and the Darfield Residents Association after this to how we look at that quote and see how we might get this delivered. So Harvey, I'll drop you a line tomorrow to tee up a bit of a chat if that's okay.
Yep, fine.
Just on to, sorry, I'm running a couple of different pages here. I think probably reflecting what happened in our Residents Association and Malvern Community Board meeting. I thought that was really good feedback. They've picked up, there's a couple of really strong themes. One of those was around reserve management, and really appreciated Kieran Wall's attendance, who's our reserve operations manager, to talk about how we're looking at doing things differently as council. So I think what we've placed in here is a little bit of an indication of a change in direction for council and how we're looking to operationalise our reserves and what we're looking for. Kieran would have been here tonight to talk a little bit more about his program, but he's on leave. So we will look to come to the 26th of May meeting with a bit of an overview of the work our reserves team are doing in the Malvern community, and that will be I guess, similar to the dashboard I've attached to my report, how we get a bit more oversight into what's going on in your patch. So hopefully you're comfortable with that update. The team, so Denise Kidd provided me an update and for the board to utilise around the community hall usage work, and it's a bit of an indication of the direction of travel. We're looking at bringing that forward, and there will be a chance for the community board towards the end of your term to get into this program of work. So it's just an indication of time. Now, John, I know that you've raised the community halls as an area of interest. We agree, and I think this is signalling, again, a program of work that we'll bring back to the community board in probably a couple of months' time.
Appreciate it, Steve.
Update on the West Malvern Rec Centre. I won't touch on that.
The only thing could I say, Steve,
yeah, sure.
On the West Malvern thing, as I understood, is this where we're referring to the tennis courts now? Yeah, okay. Because at this stage, we were also going to originally upgrade the children's playground, because that's going to be abolished. And is that going to be done at the same time? Because the children's playground currently and the tennis courts, as I understand, the proposal is to make that into car parks. Now, I know our children's playground is similar to yours at Kerwee. While it's still been approved, there is some concern that some of them, the slides, etc., on that are not quite up to standard. So it's just something, while we've been allowed to continue with that, with the children's program there, I'm just wondering, when we do build the tennis court, whether the proposal is, as was recommended, that the playground would be moved and upgraded at the same time.
Mr. Chair, I don't have the answer to that, but what I'll do is I'll ask Kieran Wall to bring back that update in his report for next month, if you're comfortable.
Yeah, 100%.
And Therese, we can just note that as an action on Kieran and I to respond.
Thank you.
Look, and I might sort of lean on John and the chair here around this. Okay, he's replacing a battery in his ears. So, John, you're at the meeting around the Springfield Bypass Working Party. I understand it went relatively well, pretty clear direction of travel. Happy if anyone wants to, Bruce or John, you want to touch on how that meeting went?
Well, John, do
Yes.
you want to give a brief? Because the only thing I will say at this stage is that they're going to take it further with particularly the persons whose land may be involved. And so the decision was that there be a small group, mainly the person being the Ian McKenzie as the current representative from ECAN, the elected member, and a staff member, be it from Selwyn, and a staff member from ECAN. John, do you want to add anything further?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, look, firstly, I'd like to say a thank you to the council, and in particular Steve, for the quality and informative value of his report. And also the same applies to the working party meeting, that it was an excellent exercise in sort of collegiality and moving forward. And I think everybody who attended, from my point of view, had an opportunity to be heard, contribute, and really appreciated the opportunity to work with a range of people and the council to try and get an issue that has, I believe, been going on for many years moving forward. So just thank you. And I'm sure that when we come to meet in August, September, that we're actually seeing traction being made now.
Yeah, thanks, John, for that.
Just provided the technical team have done a bit of an update on the Darfield connection, wastewater connection. So hopefully that's responded to the board's queries on that. And I'm just going to keep moving through unless anyone wants to talk to it. In terms of the budget, I appreciate apologies. I realise my numbering's slightly out, which is ironic when I'm talking about a budget. But I just note, and we've already touched on the workshop that will happen around the week of the 12th of May. We are still working through the various options as a result of the representation review and the impact of the change for the West Melton residents moving out from the Malvern Community Board area at the conclusion of the election process later this year. So we've got some initial indicative numbers and modelling, and I'm just working now with the team to bring that to the workshop in May.
In early May.
Yeah, and then that will inform a paper that will then come to the board meeting late May to then set the budget and to put the money in the right place for you. We've touched on work location, and probably then I guess the one other little bit of innovation, and I wish I could probably play with this on the screen, but I might save it for the next one, is part of the I guess council sits on a huge wealth of information, both from a budgeting point of view, from a levels of service, and from a project point of view. And so I've had our digital team work on a series of dashboards to hopefully bring to life some of the work and some of the projects, some of the expenditures, and some of the issues that are coming out through the Malvern community. And I'm working on a way in which we can share this dashboard with the board members so that you can have a bit of a play around and see what's going on, where the money's being spent, how the projects are progressing or not. And then you get to ask questions, but you also get oversight. So the three attachments, or the attachment I've provided to this, the first one is around a summary of your board budget. In the live setting, you can hover over each of the graph and all the bars there, and you can drill down into the level of expenditure and what's gone in to make up that number. On the second page, the capital projects, that's giving you a sense of what we plan to spend in terms of the calendar or the financial year, how we're tracking against that planned spend, and then on the breakdown to the side, what are the projects that are making up that spend? What's on track? What's not on track? What have we delivered? What haven't we delivered yet? And I guess what you can see out of this is that we're a little bit behind the year-to-date spend by just around 500k-ish. And there's quite a big ramp-up of work that will occur over the next 3 months, and in particular the May to June period. The breakdown on the side, it scrolls down quite a bit, so you'll get to break down all those key projects. But I'm working on a way to try and make this a little bit more intuitive. But had we been in person, I could have run you through this on the screen. And I'm just running out of fingers and hands to do that at the moment. So if you can, I might try and bring this to the workshop in May. And the last one, I think I picked this up. It was through the Residents Association meeting we had middle of the month. One of the questions revolved around understanding the service requests, where things were being resolved. Are we getting on top of the issues as they are being resolved? And I think what I can show you there is that of the 293 service requests we've had opened, we've closed 270 of them across the year. So I think actually we're resolving most things. And this is a chance, I guess you'll be able to scroll down and see what's left, what's open, what are we doing about it. So hopefully you're getting a bit more of a sense of what's going on in your communities. And I'll take any feedback you have about what other information you'd like to see in this. That's my report. I'm happy to take any questions through you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I shall ask for any questions before I propose the motion. Is there any questions on it?
No, just a statement again that it's fantastic work, and I think it's good progress and confirms we're working together and heading in the right direction. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, John. And I would confirm that as well. I think it's the information that you're providing, Steve, to us is very much appreciated. I'm prepared now to move the adoption of the report received. The seconder.
I'll second it.
Sean, you second it? Thank you. I will put the motion. All in favour, please say aye.
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 Carried. We'll move on to the
So this is so the next is the financial report, Mr. Chair. Unfortunately, you've got me to talk about numbers as well. The team aren't able to make it tonight, so this is just our regular reporting. Hopefully, we've got the plain language explanation a bit better for the board this time around. Again, welcome feedback on this report, but I'll just take this report as read and answer any questions that might pop up.
Are there any questions on it?
Mr. Chair.
Certainly, John.
Just in relation to the book, was there any indication as to how many there are?
I've got that message on my phone. The team, the History of Malvern book, there are 8 copies left, and they're all held at Selwyn District Council HQ.
Okay, I want one of those copies, so there may only be 7 left.
Oh, be in quick because they're a bargain, because I'm sure that I didn't intend to get shafted, but by going to the headquarters, I got a copy for $10. So at that price, there's a real bargain.
Yeah, but you don't have to advertise that fact just because you and I know that.
Is the point of that how much revenue have we made? Of that question, John?
No, I was just being pedantic. If there was an issue on there as an asset, well, I just thought we should know whether there are 8 or 800. But with it being 8, it changes my view on it.
But when the books were printed, which was quite some years ago now, I can't tell you whether or not we can find out how many were actually sold at the time. I don't know. Okay, the financial report be received. I will move so. A seconder. Thank you, Sean.
No, don't think
That
Sean. I
wasn't
think
me.
there's another background noise going on.
Sorry, Harvey, can you mute yourself? Whatever you're
Okay,
doing on
sorry.
your phone. Yeah, thank you.
I'm happy to.
Oh, but you're welcome to stay, Harvey.
Yeah, you just need to press mute because your phone's
Okay, I'll find that. Yep.
Thank you.
So did I have a seconder?
John.
John, thank you for the report. All in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Carried. My report is next. Correct?
Correct.
Oh, well, actually, Sean's is a verbal. Oh no, I beg your pardon.
I'll just take you
Chairperson,
already, mate.
thank you. Okay, I'll just take the report as read. As I said, I have made some comments. I again have paid comment to Steve for the very enlightening discussion we had with council staff refinance. The other thing which I was rather concerned about was the way that in the Finnish water done well was, and the representation review. So those were the two things, particularly in the representation review, which I believe was completely out of the blue completely once local government got a hold of it. And so we'll wait and see whether that was the best decision that was made. I know the West Melton Residents Association meeting the other night were quite appalled with that they had been shifted. When they said of the submissions that were launched, there were only 3 who supported the proposal of moving to the Spring Ward, but there was a considerable amount who wished to stay where they were. So the only thing I did congratulate the local government was the fact that there was a suggestion promoting community boards in all wards, and I certainly look forward to that happening, as opposed to perhaps running a rural community board. I feel that may be a step, but in my humble opinion, I believe the wards should have the right to have their own community board. So, as I say, the final comment, the Malvern Community Board is here to stay. So let us give our Malvern community the trust, the guidance, and the expectation they have placed in us. I will move my report. Second up.
I'll second.
Thank you. It's open for discussion. Right, if not, I will put the motion. All in favour, please say aye. A verbal report from you, Sean, please.
My apologies, I was on recess. So we had the Combined Residents Association meeting in the second week or the second Thursday of April. Thank you, Steve and Kieran Wall, for attending. I did receive some feedback, particularly around Kieran Wall's presentation. It was all positive. The communities are really grateful for the willingness that you both showed to work alongside the communities. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to say thank you again for attending and being open to discussion and conversation with everyone. As noted earlier, I did attend the Darfield Anzac ceremony and was able to participate. Auntie Lynn grabbed me just as the parade was about to start and asked me to be involved. So that was good times. It was a lovely service and there was quite a good turnout, so that was awesome. One of the things that was raised in the previous meeting was in relation to community services and lack of social services in the Malvern area and probably in Selwyn as a district, actually. I'm just wondering if we can get a little bit of a prompt for response from the community services team. I was told before I left the meeting that I would receive an email, but I haven't yet. So if that would be possible, please, Steve. I've spoken about the chair, so I've just said to Harvey that I'll start getting onto some emails in regards to the memorial stuff I haven't got back to Kieran after having a conversation with him, but I will have a yarn with him and find out what the requirements are for an application for a memorial, and then Harvey, you and I can meet down there and find a suitable spot, hopefully with council. And I guess the last thing I just wanted to make mention of is in relation to the local water done well consultation. I don't know if it really needs to be said, but the people are not happy about the lack of democratic process in the vote that council made around the table. I personally watched the live stream of it, and like my fellow constituents, I was not impressed at the lack of democracy in the process around council table. So I'd just like that noted, that I've made that known. Malvern community were not happy with the outcome of the vote. That's my report.
Thank you, Sian. Is there anything further you want to say on the transport situation?
Oh, sorry. Yes, absolutely. So there was an action point in the previous minutes for me to put a submission through on the public transport with the ECAN annual plan. That was done, and the submission was circulated to the rest of the board. I have been given a hearing date and time, and I believe it is 3rd of May, but can I confirm that for you for the minutes, Trace?
Right, thank you. So you're prepared to move your verbal report?
Yes, I move my verbal report.
Thank you, and I please seconding it. Is there any further discussion on it? If not, we will move on. All in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you. Phil, your verbal report, please.
Yes, yeah, sorry for not having a written one. I have been out of the country and enjoying myself on the coast boating. So other than that, so I haven't been able to attend many RA meetings, but did catch up with Kieran. He is a breath of fresh air, which is good in regard to our local reserve. Other than that, I only attended the Anzac and laid a wreath with Bob at the Hororata one on the weekend. But other than that, very, very happy with everything, the way it's going at the moment. And probably just want to back up Sian on what you've just said in regards to that water done well, that it wasn't very democratic, sorry. Other than that, no, pretty much reasonably happy getting back into it this month. And then I'm shooting overseas for another 3 weeks. So
now, I must say that I did read the report in the Malvern News of how your team went. Other than some of the social activities, perhaps you can tell us, how well did you play?
Well, I'm not reasonably well. They were quite old players to play against, so not too bad. But no,
right,
yes, it was more of a social thing.
Move your report, please.
Yes, I'll move my report. Thank you.
Second for Phil.
Yep.
Thanks, John. It's open for discussion. If not, I will put it. All in favour, please say aye. Against? Carried. Thank you. John, please. You have given a written report, so I hope everybody's had the opportunity to read it. So, John, perhaps you can summarise the main points.
Yep. It's one of the luxuries when you get to my stage of life that you have plenty of time. So, again, just touching on the representation review, my reading of it is that, no disrespect to any individuals, but the council as a collective didn't, in my view, do itself any favours, especially in the fact that the way it handled and responded, in my view, to the local government commission's questions that they were given notice and time to prepare on, that in my view, and remember I'm old and my memory lapses from time to time, that there were contradictory statements among the team. And I think in the vernacular, they were hoist on their own petard because, as you know, from the very beginning, the preliminary consultation was ignored and then it went from bad to worse. And I think it's reflected in the fact that there was only one appeal out of the 70 odd thousand people in the Selwyn ward who could appeal. And just for completeness, ditto to the local water done well, that we are moving into the local elections. And I know the council is making an effort to try and increase people's awareness, because if you're not registered, you can't vote. And then the challenge becomes, when people are registered, getting them out to vote. In relation to my town, it came with a hiss and a roar at the beginning of the year. And my understanding was that sometime round about March, shall we say, April maybe, and I know we're just at the end of April, that there was going to be some feedback from all the drop-in centres. Maybe the executive leadership team member can provide an update.
Yes, thank you, John. So we've programmed in that there will be a workshop for the May Malvern Community Board meeting, where the summary of the area plan feedbacks will be shared.
Given the fact that most of the residents' associations meet in that sort of first, second week of May, is there any opportunity to get some unconfirmed heads up, so that when we attend the Residents Association meetings, we can provide some feedback?
It'll be a case of timing and quality assurance over the numbers, but let me ask the question of the team, and then I can come back to you and the board via email if you're comfortable with that.
Yep, that's all I can ask for. So otherwise, I'm happy to move the report with the proviso that it really is heartening to myself and the people that I've spoken to, who may be a subset of people in the area, but they're really pleased to see the direction that the board and, more importantly, the council are going.
Thank you, John. You will move your report?
Yes.
Thank you. I have pleasure in seconding it. It's open for discussion. If there's none, I will put the motion. All in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you. Moving on. Lydia, are you with us yet? Oh, thank you, dear. Thank you.
Yeah, I am.
And great to see you again. I did introduce Lydia at our Kerwee. I welcomed her as one of the guests at the Kerwee service. I also welcomed our junior councillor, Hazel. So it was just nice to see you both there. Lydia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I apologise for being late. Seems that the many hats I wear around coaching kids sport seems to fall into my time space as well. I did manage to get a board report up here, and I had assumed that everyone else would have covered off on the representation review and local water done well. So I wanted to focus on some other things that are happening for our community in this. And thank you for introducing me at the Kerwee inaugural service. It was really lovely. I also attended the Sheffield Waddington service and the Springfield service as well. So it was a bit of a busy day, but good to be with our community. And there's an apology just in my report. There is an error that I had actually left in the appendixes from my previous report. So appendix 1 and 2 are not actually anything to do with this report. They are from my last reports. But obviously in the news, the state highway, the speed through the state highway in Sheffield has been in the limelight recently. So I've written to NZTA, and they've told me that the earliest they would review the speed limit would be July. So my plan around that is to actually not just wait until July, because we all know that things get lost in time, and to actually deliver to NZTA a bit more of a plan of what our communities want to see on the state highway. So I wanted to work with MCB and our residents associations to deliver a bit of a plan to them to put on their desk before July, noting that July is going to actually come around really quick. So hopefully we can all work together on that to, I guess, formulate a bit of a roadmap, no pun intended, but of what we would like to see. And attached is my letter for the bus review. So it's obviously been a big change for a lot of our community this morning with the loss in funding that the Malvern community has seen from Ministry of Education. I have received a reply from Minister Seymour saying that he has seen the letter and will form a response, and nothing from Minister Sanford yet. And Dark Sky, so I've communicated this with Arthur's Pass and Castle Hill because that's been a point of interest for them. And this is just from the Economic Development Subcommittee. So I listened into their meeting as I'm not part of that. And just so I think at their next meeting, we should see more of a timeline of how that's going and some indicative costing and what that looks like and what's a priority. And then the other thing there is that, yeah, there's a couple of new cell towers, which is good for our rural communities. So just enabling a bit of connectivity with the outside world. And tomorrow I have the stormwater drainage watercourse bylaw hearings and then deliberations in the afternoon. So that is myself and Councillor Hassan that are that hearings panel, and just two other, I guess, meetings of interest, which will be the local water done well workshop on the 7th of May and council meeting the 21st. So there's attached letters for your information to keep you in the loop, and so happy to take any questions.
Lydia,
I have a question.
you'll move your report, Lydia?
Oh, sorry.
I'll move my report, yes.
Seconder?
I'll second.
Any discussion on it?
Yeah, I've got a couple of things. So in regards to the speed review, Lydia, how do you intend on engaging with MCB and the resident groups to gather information?
Yeah, I think that actually sort of comes down to if you guys are going to have an interim meeting, if we could potentially discuss, you know, all the information I guess we've collated together over the past 2.5 years is a lot of what our communities want to see. Put that into a bit of a map and then actually go out to our communities and our residents associations and seek their approval and their ideas and you know, make sure that we've kind of got this right in the first instance. You know, we know that Sheffield wants to see a speed reduction. We know that Springfield wants to see an extension of their speed limit, and so does Arthur's Pass and Darfield.
And West Melton. We want to get that lowered too.
And West Melton, and we know that Kerwee wants to see a reduction so that we can put in some infrastructure.
Along the whole of state. It's along, Lydia, along the whole of state 73.
That's right, but we can kind of break this down into our townships, right? Because this is where our people are. So I think if we could, look at that as a bit of a what do we need, what needs to happen there, and actually try and just get a bit ahead of the game. That's maybe a bit strategic, but I don't want to wait until July and be like, oh, so what is it that you want to see?
So our next combined RA meeting is due for June the 12th. Would that work for you?
That would be perfect. And
would you put sort of a bit of an outline together of what you're envisioning, and then we can yay or nay and adapt as we go?
Yeah, I think that prior to that, maybe we could circulate it all and try and gather some more feedback if that works with you guys before that RA meeting, and then sort of try and firm things up in that June 12th meeting, because July will hit in a couple of weeks there, and I'd like to be ready 1st of July. They can hear from me.
That sounds good. Awesome. And just the second one was in regard to the stormwater drainage and watercourse item. So I think I'd left the meeting. Lydia, you said that you had raised it at the previous MCB meeting, the March meeting, and I had already left by then. Was there any conversation by the rest of the board whether the board was going to submit on that consultation?
Not that I know of.
Sorry. Yep. Any board members, was there any conversation about submitting on that consultation that is now closed?
I wasn't there at the meeting, so I didn't hear it because it happened after it shut off. after the live stream.
Okay. So no, okay. All good.
Yeah.
Just
So
another- Sorry, Lydia, carry
yeah,
on.
I guess yeah, and I guess it's a bit hard. So that came to council meeting on the 19th of February. So yeah, it was in the paper there, and then I brought it to the end of the February meeting. Yeah, because it was the week later. Yeah. And then in my report, I'd also said that there was the unsanitary building one, which is currently out at the moment. So there was a follow on from stormwater drainage and watercourse bylaw. So I guess yeah, there's a bit to work through that tomorrow of what that bylaw looks like.
Shouldn't take
Just
too
another
long
question.
for 5 submissions, unfortunately.
There is,
Yeah.
so if I can add some comment to that, there is 5 submissions, but previous to that, some key stakeholders have worked into that, and I guess that's a shame where MCB probably hasn't been privy to that, but it's more around the drainage committees. So the drainage committees have worked through this bylaw and fed into it right from the very start. And yeah, so I'm sort of trying to understand that. I've asked for what their actual thoughts were and what the changes they've made to the current bylaw were, just to understand what they've fed into that. And who else has been some engagement with Ellesmere Sustainable Ag down in so most of the drainage that Selwyn has is more in the Ellesmere Springs area. There's one small portion up here in the Waieri stream. And so the landowner that has that drainage on their land is part of the drainage committee. So they've fed into it that way. Yeah, so yeah, there was 5 people that submitted officially through that channel, but there's been prior engagement with, I guess, some users or people that are affected by the bylaw too.
The other question I'd like to ask you is in regards to the deleting of one of your school bus runs. Now, I know you've written to David Seymour, and at this stage, as I understand, you've had no reply.
No reply as yet, but he has acknowledged the letter I've sent. So I'm waiting for them to
But I
formulate
just
their
wonder,
reply.
is there anything that we as a community board can do in support of your letter? Because this is where I believe quite strongly that what's happening in your area is no doubt happening in a lot of other areas. And I think you point out quite correctly that they're putting points where, particularly for young children, are extremely dangerous, rather than getting picked up at the gate or picked up at a suitable place not far from their home. I just feel that, again, in my humble opinion, it's shortcutting. And it's just a matter whether you want us as a community board also to perhaps to write and just press out, because it's not only going to happen in your area, it's going to happen in our area too. Where there are school buses, they will look at the government. That's just the way it's going to work.
Yeah, I agree. And this is actually, well, it's a nationwide issue. So they'll be getting a lot of heat around this. So maybe perhaps if we wait and see what the reply is, and then we could formulate a bit of a plan from then onwards.
No, look, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. That's, yeah. Okay, or any further discussion on Lydia's report? If not, the motion is before it. All in favour of accepting it, please say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Okay, well, that really comes to the end of the agenda. What I would like to do, because again, now we've got so many things coming up, is to have what date would sort of suit you as an interim meeting of the board prior to our next meeting. Do you want to wait until we've had the finance meeting with Steve, or is there some other matters that you want to discuss prior to that? Realising, John, that you're not back until, what about the 14th of May, is it?
8th of May.
The 8th of May. You're back on the 8th of May, John. I presume he's still there.
Yes.
Okay,
I
Sean.
thought Steve had answered it for me.
Sorry.
I was relying on Steve's answer for me.
Oh, well, I'm pleased about that. Thank you. Okay, Sean, were you going to ask a question?
Could we not, I mean, I'm mindful that we had planned an interim meeting prior to our combined RA meeting, and then there was a finance budget meeting that was set up prior, and then the interim meeting got cancelled. So is it too many meetings? Do we do it on the same day as the workshop?
Well, that's the question I'm asking you, because we normally have the interim meetings. We haven't had dates that we've sort of put into our diary on a monthly basis. We've just tried to work out what's going to be the most suitable.
Correct.
So all I'm saying is, if you can wait until the finance workshop, that's fine.
I guess where I'm going with this is I prefer that we don't cancel interim meetings. I think they're important for us as a team to communicate with each other.
Yep.
And so if the workshop might mean that people won't attend the interim, if we do it all on the same day, that works for me, if that works for everyone else.
Yeah, well, I'm perfectly happy with that, as long as the other board members are also. We do realise that we're meeting with our residents' associations every second month. So it's important that we maintain that. But in this particular month coming up, we've got the finance meeting, which we could discuss a number of other things.
Finance as in
So
budget?
are you happy? Are you happy to move something, Sean?
No, sorry, I just need to clarify. So the finance meeting is in the budget meeting that needed to happen because the last budget meeting was null and void because of the LGC decision.
I'll let Steve bring what he's proposing at this stage.
Yeah, thank you. Look, yes, that's correct, Sean. It's the impact of the rep review on the budget. We had the budget meeting the day before the rep review announcement. We realised we had to go back to square one. So that'll be the finance meeting that the chair is talking about.
Yeah.
What we'll do, because I'm mindful now, we're probably veering off the public agenda, and we probably may want to conclude the public meeting and keep everyone online, and then have a bit more of an informal chat about the meetings process coming up. But yes, that in answer to your question, yes, that is what.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
So I think if you're happy, Mr. Chair, what we can do is we can conclude the formalities of the meeting, because you've been through your agenda. There may be some other questions that other people may want to have. I think we can stop the formal meeting so that we're not recording the minutes. But then if there are other questions, if you're comfortable.
All right, well, I'm happy with that. Is there anything else that any board member wants to bring up relevant to the agenda? If
No.
not, sorry, Phil?
No, I'm all good, thanks.
Okay, well, if that's the case, I thank those who have listened into it. I thank my board and Lydia, and particularly Steve and Therese for making this work. With that, I declare the formal part of the meeting closed.
Cool, thanks. So we'll so from this point on, we'll stop recording, and we won't. I guess we've done the live stream component, but I know that there might be a few other conversations you may want to get into. Therese, do you just want to confirm we've stopped the recording?
The recording, and I'm going to stop the live stream. But if we could ask any members of the public to leave the meeting so that the board can meet separately, please.
I'm mindful probably Sam missed the public forum and has indicated he wants to raise a couple of questions. Are we able, is the board able to make a decision that you want to grab those questions, or we can deal with those questions separately from Sam?
I'll support that we take the questions from Mr. Wiltshire.
Okay.
I'm happy with that.
Then
I'm
in
happy.
view of that, I won't stop the live stream because then that will be regarded as part of the public meeting.
Okay. Right, yeah.
Righto.
Very good.
Yep.
Awesome.
Oh, Sam.
A couple of questions on the the stormwater bylaw. I'd probably conclude with that there wasn't much advertising of that, which might lead to the 5 submissions in total, and 1 oral presentation, which sadly is me tomorrow. Another question that I'd have regarding the recreation group, is it true that the allotment of 8 tennis courts has been reduced down to 6 for West Mountain now? And what is the reasoning behind that? Sorry,
There was a couple of sorry, there was a bit of a, I think with that, I understand that there was a bit of a scope issue. I may need to come back through the board, Sam, to answer that question, because I know I have raised it. Oh, sorry, Lydia, you've got your hand up.
It's probably helped with some of that. We met with some residents with the staff in charge of the project management of that team, and there is only limited funds in what they can actually deliver there. So there is no additional funds that they can find to deliver the 8 courts. So it'll be delivered as 6 courts with a grass area closer to the boundary of the court area. And yeah, there's still some scope and negotiation being worked on through the boundary fence there, but there is effectively no more money. Staff recognise that if they could find efficiencies, they would wanted to try and deliver the 8 courts, because it's good just to do all the work while you're there in one go. But unfortunately, there isn't any extra funding.
Has the West Mountain Tennis Club been informed that they're reduced from 8 to 6 now, or yet? Or
I would assume so. I'm not the project manager to deliver this, but
I respect that.
yeah, I think that Matt and the team are in discussion with the tennis club and still with the neighbours. So it's an ongoing discussion.
If I understand, Lydia,
yeah, cool.
yes, the tennis club has been informed, as I understand, but I won't say that for gospel. The other question I would ask, though, as part of the original budget, was that they would also have a small sort of clubhouse attached to the tennis courts. Is that still in the budget?
I am unsure. I know that through the long-term plan, and I'd had a discussion with the tennis club and netball club over this, and I don't know where this is with staff, so it becomes hard because there's some stuff that I don't have oversight on, but I think the decision was made to be in talk with the 2 clubs, so netball and tennis, about using the West Mountain Community Centre. So on that
was originally right from the start.
Yeah, and so
that is the position that we've landed on now.
Yeah, because it's perfect.
That's how we got an extra room, be it on the community centre. And then
it's perfect.
Said, hang on a moment, we would like a pavilion too, and I know they did put that forward. But there is. Yes, sorry, Lydia.
My understanding is they'd use that because it's perfect. It's fully self-contained for them. It has all the facilities that they need.
Yep.
And yeah, so why not utilise what we've already got and make sure that what we have has been well used?
Yep. Because that room that was built with a kitchen and a toilet.
And
Sam?
Yeah. Thank you, Bruce. And the budget that I imagine, this is probably Steve, you may need to go away on this. Has the budget been beaten up because we're now having to contract out our planning and design for landscaping, since those staff no longer reside with council that were originally tasked with that?
No, I think what we've just given that like we're very close. I don't think there's going to be a huge amount, so I wouldn't say the budget's been beaten up on this component. I think that the proper QS works that have come in on the design is probably where the biggest shift in the dollar figures has occurred, Sam.
Cool. All good. And yeah, I've already forgotten the other question, so I'm good now.
Thank you.
Awesome. Oh, thank
There
you.
was a question for you, Sam. Sorry, quickly, and it was in regards to the boxing for the memorial seat. That come from you, Bruce.
Sorry?
Was it you that asked the question about Sam doing
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I
I'm still
understand.
happy,
Yeah, I did
still happy
ask
to
that
provide
question.
that.
Yeah.
So just confirming that was the plan,
Oh, yeah.
Sam?
Yep, happy to. Yep, happy to.
Okay, thank you.
All good. All right.
Is
Thank
there
you.
anybody else wants to ask any questions before we discontinue everything? Okay, again, many thanks to all the contributors, and hopefully we've answered most of the questions. Okay, all the very best. Good night.
Thank you.
Right, so Therese is gone, has she?
Therese is there. Both Hall is there. Therese, we're all good now.
Yes, I'm going to stop the live stream. Thank you.